Football is back, ladies and gentlemen, which now means it's time to get your team's football shirt. But I'm not trying to pay £120 for a football shirt. I'm just saying. But I have found the solution for myself and for you, the lovely audience of the Don Hussam channel, with your own coupon promo code. And this is the solution, ladies and gentlemen. All you've got to do is just go to okjersey.com. As you guys can see, all the options are there. Of course, I'm a Liverpool fan, you guys already know. And then this is the shirt. Look how amazing it looks. I'm just going to go pick my size. And then after that, I'm going to choose the Premier League patch. And listen, I'm too old to be putting any player names on the back. So I'm just going to get it as it is. I'm going to click add to cart, view cart. And this is the same thing that you guys do on any website. You proceed to checkout. You fill in all your information. And then after that, coupon code Hussam. When you click this coupon code, you get a 8% discount. Enjoy shopping, guys. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. Big up to every single one of you guys. This is one of my favorite shows of the week to do. You get me? Because it's calm. Because there is no agendas. We just sit here, have a football conversation. You get me? Oh yeah, they're doing the thing again. Yeah, that's not on me, mate. You get me? So big up to all of you guys. Please subscribe, continue to enjoy the channel, and also Tom Little and Mike Dass's channels are in the description. And look, both of these guys, well, not Tom, but Mike is a lot more active on his channel now as well, so do give him a subscribe. And I think we're gonna have real honest debates and conversations today, which is very important in the Liverpool fan base. I hope this video get Nick approval as well, because it's very important that Nick approves that this isn't just like all the other content, so we're doing something different. So I want to see, Nick in the chat, hopefully promoting the show and talking about how great of an idea this is, because we're talking football without any agendas or without any cooking, despite the fact we lost 4 games in a row and deserve to get cooked. Anyway, big up to all of you. Like the video, subscribe. So, guys, how are we, first and foremost? You guys good?
All good. All good.
What shirt are you wearing?
Me.
Is that Arsenal?
Orlando. No, Orlando. We change every time. It's an Orlando Pirate shirt.
Oh, fair. So I'm going to ask you the question, first of all, and that's the first thing I want to start with. Guys, like sub chat. Immediately 100 likes. The $1 million question that's been on everyone's minds / tongues / thoughts. Is Mo a problem now for Liverpool Football Club? And actually, let me start with Mike for this one. You're on mute.
Listen, guys, he asks us to mute in order to play the ad, and then, of course, I forget to unmute, so I'm sorry. Listen, no. My answer is very simply no. But it's a little bit more complex than that. If you look at the first half, Florian Wirtz was asked to occupy the same areas that Mohamed Salah was occupying on the right-hand side of the pitch, and in fact, it led to a goal that we conceded. So not only was he completely ineffective in terms of his ability to get us into the opposition net, Florian Wirtz trying to make something happen on his own ends up leading to Connor Bradley vacating space, ball in behind, cross to Christensen, goal. Obviously, listen, Christensen's shot, that's not a high percentage opportunity. It is what it is. It happened to go in on the day. Doesn't change the fact that I saw another player occupy the same exact job, and he sucked. It wasn't until the second half turned, Florian Wirtz began to have this whole freedom role. I'm going to stick you in the middle, and you can drift to either side, and you're going to have Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones actually helping you. Did he really sort of blossom into this unbelievable second half that I think he should have had 3 assists and a goal? I mean, Florian Wirtz should have had 4 GA in that 45 minutes. But to me, the issue with Salah right now is that it's just the final product, but I think that the final product isn't there because he's not involved in these games. I think that if you look at Mohamed Salah on the pitch most of the time, 70% of the game gets built up on the other side of the pitch now. So automatically he isn't involved in the build-up. He's getting fewer and fewer moments in front of goals. And as we know, he's always been the guy who feels the need that he has to score. And that's why I think he's being so rash. I think it's a little bit mental because I know that he's not a bad player. He's had 2 straight games where he's looked off Florian Wirtz and he's taken a shot. Last season, he did the same thing. He just made the shots, and none of us sat here and talked about it. Aston Villa is a perfect example. He did that same exact passage of play, and he scored on Emi Martinez instead of playing in Darwin Núñez, who was in the same position that Florian Wirtz was. But none of us were throwing it up in the air. I just think, to me, it's down to the fact that he's getting such little involvement in the game that when he does find that moment, he feels the need to be rash and shoot. I will say we did look a little bit different when him and McAllister came on, but I'm leaning more towards McAllister fucking up the whole flow of the team than Mohamed Salah fucking up the whole flow of the team. I think a lot of people are jumping to conclusions. I think a lot of people aren't asking themselves, why is he being poor? And I think it's a very unfair criticism because Florian Wirtz just had a shit first half playing his best Mohamed Salah impression. It's not a Mo problem.
In the setup that we used yesterday, Mohamed Salah doesn't play on the right because Mohamed Salah doesn't do the defensive work that Florian Wirtz did yesterday. I think that's something that's gone sort of under the radar. Florian Wirtz done a lot of tracking back defensively to be that right midfielder in that 4-4-2. That's not Mohamed Salah's game. There is a spot for Mohamed Salah in this team, which is the right striker. You put him in the spot that Isak filled yesterday, where there's almost an element of, because what I saw yesterday was the strikers and the guy who was on their side or in around them. There was a lot of fluidity within them, so they would stay in similar areas, but it'd be one's dropping, the other's going. But it didn't work when it was Isak and Wirtz rotating, because when they're rotating, they're going into the wrong positions for each other. If it's Salah and Wirtz rotating, both of them are more comfortable receiving the ball in that line. And then you factor in what we've got right back with Conor Bradley, who is incessant on cutting inside and crashing the box. You're kind of going to need someone on that area of the pitch who can drift out wide as well, which is why I think Mohamed Salah's future at the club is that right striker in that 4-4-2. If this is what we're going for long term, it's not a problem. The carry on from the thingy yesterday, people forget that goal scorers are selfish. Fernando Torres is shooting that situation. Luis Suarez is shooting that situation.
We were also up 5-1. We were up 5-1.
We're 5-1 in the 90th minute. Wirtz got 2 assists. The guy who needs his confidence back at the minute to Mohamed Salah, he's going to take that shot. You know who else took a shit shot when he should have passed? Chiesa. Why are we not going on Chiesa? I've got no gripe with him taking that shot on. He's a goal scorer. He is selfish. Goal scorers are inherently selfish. Now, if it was 0-0, then and he takes that shot, different arguments. But my thing is, Mohamed Salah's that good of a footballer that if it was 0-0, my argument would be that he'd probably square it in that situation. He's using the fact that it's 5-1 in the 90th minute as cover for his attempt to get back on target.
I think, like, I was doing a watch along, and when that happened, I screamed, "You selfish fuck," 4 straight times. I was screaming it, but I think that's where it should end. Like, you scream at him in the moment, you say you should have passed, play the ball, play the pass, over. I'm way more angry about the one against United because of the fact that it was an actual moment where that's a low percentage shot. You need to pass it to the 2 different individuals who can put the ball on the back of the net 10 feet to your left. I just think that everyone's looking at the end product and no one is asking themselves, why is Mo looking the way he's looking right now? Why, right? And no one wants to talk about the why. Because Mo had 46 GA, everyone just wants to talk about the what. No one wants to ask why. And so if we're not going to ask why, what's the point of having this conversation? I mean, Mo occupied exactly what you said. We stuck to the 4-4-2 when he came on. He was up the pitch. He was the right-hand striker. There was one moment where he didn't hold his run, and Szoboszlai had to hold the pass, which ultimately led to some flubbed shot. And there was the one moment where he got him behind and he could have played Florian Wirtz. Outside of that, he occupied that same position, and we just couldn't progress the ball because the whole midfield structure was screwed.
You could see as well with him in that spot, his lack of pressing is a lot less of a problem because the centre-backs, instead of passing it into an area where they're not getting pressed, the centre-backs are not getting pressed and passing it into an area where we are waiting to press them, so they can't progress the ball as well. The problem that we have when we play the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1 or whatever it's called, is because Salah goes on the right, when the ball gets played to the left back, they're passing it into an area where he's not getting pressed, so they can progress the ball up quite quickly. Whereas if he's in the middle, the centre-back, unless he plays a really long ball, which is what Palace done against us, to completely bypass progression through the lines, they're not going to progress as well, because when they play it out to the left-back, you've got a guy like a Wirtz, a guy like a Soboslai, a guy like a fucking Chiesa, whoever out in that position waiting for him to receive the ball so he can go and press him. So I've got no problem with what's going on. I've seen Salah have these bad runs of form before. He's not invincible. I remember the year that we got 97 points. He didn't score for 9 games, and in those games he didn't look very impactful at times. He looked like he was snatching at shots. He was wasting some chances. But this is what happens when goal scorers hit a rut. At the end of the day, I've seen him score how many goals for us. I've seen him assist how many goals for us. I have complete faith that he'll bounce back from this, as he has done and as he will do. So with that in mind, I've got no real worries about it. I think that it'll be interesting to see how he works in the system. I think that what's going to be really interesting is to see how he works in that front two with both Isak and Ekitike, and how his role will differ compared to who's alongside him, because he has to play it differently when he's got Ekitike there to when he's got Isak there, just because Isak and Ekitike are different players. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see. I think it's probably the final evolution of his of Salah's Liverpool career, tactically anyway. And I think it opens up a whole lot of possibilities. And on the, I don't disagree with Mike. When McAllister came on, he came on. I can't exactly remember who he came on for. He kept Jones and Soboslai, didn't he?
Yeah. I if I'm not mistaken,
was it Ekitike?
Yeah, and then McAllister decided, basically, once McAllister came on the pitch with Mohamed Salah, all of a sudden we lost the extra man in midfield, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but during that second half, especially when Joe Gomez came on, we were operating with 3 center backs and 2 wing backs. Curtis Jones being the left-sided wing back, and Connor Bradley being the right-sided wing back. And then Soboslai and Florian Wirtz were standing at the center circle. McAllister, when he came on the pitch, basically occupied the same area that Isak was in. So McAllister comes on the pitch, doesn't get involved in the game. We're pretty much a man short, and all of a sudden, that's why after that, kind of everything, all the cohesiveness that we saw before that sort of disappeared.
I mean, I think that it went, though, because he brought on. So he took off Gakpo and Ekitike and brought on Salah and McAllister. Yeah. At that point, the only other attacker we had on the pitch was Chiesa. So we ended up with 2 attackers in Chiesa and Salah, and then Wirtz, Soboslai, Jones, and McAllister as like the 4. I think that in that situation, that's not going to be as effective as what we had before, because I don't know who's playing where. I think it was just trying to get guys on to just. But Maka can get 15 minutes in his legs. He can go run around, whatever. Wirtz can chill out in a deeper role now. He can rest himself for a little bit, all that sort of stuff. I'm not reading necessarily too much into what happened when McAllister came on. I am reading, though, into the mega performance that Curtis Jones gave me for balance and for progressing the ball. Which
we'll speak about that in a bit, because I do want to unpack the performance yesterday and what made it different for us. But chat, it's interesting because every time I say something, and I made sure that the guys first speak, every time I say something, all I get from a lot of people in the chat is like, you're only saying this because he's Egyptian. You're only saying this because he's Muslim. So I defend Steven Gerrard. He ain't Egyptian. He ain't Muslim. You get me? Like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm in agreement with Mike and with Tom. He is not the problem currently at Liverpool Football Club. I think the fluidity is the problem. The system, the structure, the style is the problem. Now, I went and actually got like a snapshot, basically, of the moment that made the people go into meltdown, which is this moment right here. With all due respect, I can't think of many forwards in the entirety of the planet that pass on this position. Like, I just don't think anyone in the universe, really, who's a forward, who's a goal-scoring forward, who's a consistent forward who gets a lot of GA. Like, respectfully, no one is passing here, guys. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Like, Kane ain't passing here, Haaland ain't passing here, Mbappe ain't passing here. I don't see anyone really passing here. You know, like that's my
passes
thing.
there. Soboslai literally did get into the same before Soboslai scored that goal from outside the box. I screamed at him because he pretty much picked up the same position that Mohamed Salah is in now, and rather than shooting, he passed it. Like,
Okay,
listen,
you said Soboslai, but Soboslai is not a goal scorer, so that's my point. Like, and it's the same thing as well as people go in the chat. By the way, you really believe Vinicius Junior will pass there? Then you haven't watched Vinicius Junior.
I also think
Firmino's not a goal scorer either. My point is, at a goal
on if he's in
scorer,
form or not. I think it depends on if he's in form or not.
And the game
and plus exactly what exactly what I think Mike and Tom were talking about in terms of like he's trying to regain like his form and his momentum. Bro, we're 5-1 up. We're 5-1 up. The guy wants to gain some confidence. The guy wants to gain some momentum. I think the response from some of us as like some of the fans is just mad. Like, it's just crazy how disrespectful people are. Like, this is like the truth of the matter is Liverpool Football Club basically built this whole shit on Salah's back. Like, the way that we've moved over the last 3-4 months, he's one of the main reasons for this happening because of what he did last season. We're talking about all the great moments he gave us last season. We're talking about a player that most assists, most goals, most big chances created. And with all due respect, when someone has the most big chances created in the league, by definition, he's not selfish. But he would prioritize scoring basically goals in that game. So for me, I think he's not the problem. I think the style and the system and the way that we play is the biggest problem. And we fix that and we will address that in a bit. And in terms of like people keep going on about like the whole, Salah was trotting back to the dressing room. That's once again been made up to
clap the fans.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mike, for saying that. Ed, I know you were saying this earlier on, but he actually clapped the fans. He did. Get me.
He's apologizing. Look at him. Yeah. Go back to that fucking first picture. He's literally putting his hands up and he's saying, "Yo, I know, like I know that should have been a goal. Like you 100%." That's what he's saying. He said, "I know, I like 100%. I missed two, 3 different opportunities. I wasn't good today. I'm sorry." That's literally what he's doing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And by the way, the whole cover photo thing, someone on Twitter said apparently he's removed that during the international break anyway, even before this whole thing.
Bro, even if he did, his location on Twitter says Liverpool, England. Like, come on, people. Everyone just wants to. I'm just like, this is the part of fandom and talking about shit online that I just think is so dumb. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, is his finishing right now on par? Absolutely not. 100%. Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester United, Eintracht Frankfurt, not good enough. End product, not good enough. But at the same time, his overall involvement in the play, the way that we're playing to not suit his best needs, also major problem. That's not his fault. It's a double-weighted sword. And at the end of the day, we scored 5 goals without him, and that's a positive. I mean, everyone was talking about how fucking reliant we are on him last year. We go out, we score 5 goals without them, albeit 2 of them off of set pieces. Set piece again, ole ole. I don't really care, but like you can't have it both ways, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually saw something
I'm just glad
today.
they stopped fouling on set pieces. Fuck me. Even yesterday though, I swear about half our attacking set pieces end up with us fouling them, and the 2 that didn't, we scored. Literally, every single time we put a corner in, wait 3 seconds and the whistle will blow and they'll get a free kick. And you're sitting there pulling your hair out. And when you don't do it, Van Dijk scores and Ibu scores. So, like,
did you see the deliveries before that, too? Did you see how shit they were? And then finally, Gakpo and Szoboszlai said, "Enough's enough. I'm going to go near post." And it was just uncontested. But every time we went long, it fell to 3 Frankfurt players. Just saying,
I know that Gakpo got the assist, but I really want Gakpo in the penalty box when we're taking set pieces. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know why he's
his corners.
I think Gakpo is good in the air.
His corners are quite good though. Like even if you go,
how are you going to say that after United? How are you going to say that after United, Hassan? He's good in the air after he missed a wide open net in the air.
Yeah, but like overall, Gakpo is good in the air.
Hey, we all have our moments, don't we? Like even Burnley. So like I can go through some of them. Yeah, Burnley when Konate misses from 3 yards out. That's Gakpo's corner. Gakpo's quite good at putting them corners on the keeper.
I'm not saying Gakpo's not a good crosser. I just want him in the box because he's big.
Yeah, but we're not aiming for him. So if we were trying to do a thing where we were putting it into an area for anyone to get their head on,
It's Virgil and Konate. Virgil and Konate are
Virgil or
targets.
Konate. I don't need another tall guy in there to potentially fuck it up. If he's better at crossing, because also what you got to consider is who have we got who can take them type of corners? Wirtz done them in pre-season and they weren't great. Soboslai much prefers to whip them out rather than in because he can get more power on them, and then the guy heading it can use the power that he generates to just put it back goalwards. We don't really have anyone on that side of the pitch now that the right back's gone who can just put them crosses into that area. So I'm all right with it.
I don't
just quickly, just sticking on the same topic. By the way, big up to Martin for the raid as well. Big up to you, Martin. Hey, blue pill raid. Hey, you're coming to the red side. Be careful. Jokes aside, big up to all of you City fans who just walked in. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. And I want to address this quickly. If we are saying that Salah can't be dropped, even if he's taking the gaff out, we're effectively saying he's bigger than the club. Wow.
No one here said that Mohamed Salah can't be dropped. I'm glad that we figured out a way to play without him yesterday.
I wouldn't start him this weekend. I'm just saying.
If I didn't have worries about Isak's fitness, I probably would put him on the bench again. But the fact that Isak's got that groin thing, I'm probably going to start Salah and Ekitike up front together. You could argue that it should be Chiesa and Ekitike, and I can't exactly go against you on that. But I just think logically it'll be Salah and Ekitike, and that's fine.
I mean, this is an unpopular.
I like Chiesa, but will Slot start him though?
Okay, but I like Chiesa not for. I guess where I differ is that the reason why I love seeing Chiesa on the pitch is for what he does off the ball. Yesterday, he was so brilliant off the ball. He was so brilliant at picking up the spaces to occupy defenders. If you look at, I broke this down. If you look at the goal that Cody Gakpo scored for Florian Wirtz's first assist, what Chiesa does is what I have failed to see any of the central strikers do this season. Chiesa doesn't follow, right? So Konate's bringing the ball up. He gives it to Soboslai. We finally have 5 players in our own half building up. It was actually 7 once Gakpo entered the other half of the pitch. Soboslai is making the run. Chiesa comes towards the ball. Everyone else running away because that's been the theme. Midfielder carries it out of our half. The front 4 sprint.
The left centre back then pulls away.
Well,
doesn't he?
It wasn't even that. So you had the 2 holding midfielders of Frankfurt, and you had Chiesa right behind them. And what Chiesa does is Chiesa forces both those midfielders to cover him because all Soboslai has to do is pass it to him, and Chiesa has 3 options. So he forces. Basically, because he's dropping, he forces the midfielders to stay where they are, which opens the lane that Soboslai passes to get the ball to Florian Wirtz. In the past, all season, when I say, we have a giant gaping hole, what I mean is that when the midfielder is deciding to progress the ball, the front 4 love to just run. Every single one of them loves to run and go at goal, which leaves a giant gap. Chiesa is the only one that goes, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep this midfielder from drifting. Basically, this is now a free zone for you, not anymore. That leaves a lane open. You saw the same thing against United when Konate made that pass. That it was that same exact lane. It's just we're changing who the ball carrier was. Pretty much like identical passes. But Chiesa is brilliant off the ball. That's why I want to see him on the pitch more. It's not because he's the most clinical or he's the best winger. He's just the most selfless player that I'm seeing in the front line right now. And that's what we need. We need someone selfless.
Matty, I have my tactics board ready, which we'll come to in a second, and we'll kind of analyze our system and our style. Like, this is the team I'm playing against Brentford. I'm dropping Mo. I've got no problem dropping Mo. But this is the team I'm going with against. This is the team I'm going with against him. So I'm not saying don't drop him. By all means, drop whoever is not informed. Drop. By the way, if you notice, I've dropped Kerkez and started Robertson too. I literally have no problem, guys. Listen, I want to explain something to the chat because this is very important to explain. And I know I speak for Mike and Tom as well because we share the same opinion. It's Liverpool above all. It's Liverpool above Salah. It's Liverpool above Stevie. It's Liverpool above every single player that plays for this football club. If players aren't performing well, drop them by all means. But at the same time, I can also acknowledge that I don't think he is the problem, with all due respect. I actually think we played way better in the second half than we did the first as well. But I'll come to that in a bit. Big up to my guy, African Cat. Dubs in the chat for African Cat because he just dropped him 220 pieces in a row. Big up to you, African Cat, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for showing us so much love. If we are here talking about this non-issue, then we only support a player, not a team. We don't even know what was said to Mo. A random guy could go online and say shit to him. Mo can do whatever he wants. Look, everyone has personal experiences. I gave an example yesterday. There's a guy who DM'd me after the game and he was like, Salah is an Arab. See you next Tuesday. I just screenshotted it and deleted them. So at the end of the day, personally reading the stuff that we saw online, I think that, he's definitely been on the receiving end of abuse. And for me, look, fan base aside, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, people say stuff. I'm very disappointed in Lewis Steele, basically making a non-story and like promoting lies. Because the guy didn't trot back to the dressing room. And I think that was one of the reasons that made people pile on him. If he clapped the fans off, then don't make up stuff saying like, oh, he was trotting back, because that just makes a pile on him that's based on a complete lie. And dubs in the chat, please, everyone, for African Cat, because he comes back again with another 20-piece. Big up, man. Last time, all I heard was Gakpo's shit when we missed Diaz. I didn't see him do anything but buckled up and still play. Did anyone still give him his flowers?
I'm a big Gakpo guy. I'm a big Gakpo guy, so I'm always happy to defend him.
Did I not die on a fucking hill on Friday on the Friday panel show saying that Gakpo is not the issue? And when everyone wanted to say that Gakpo's shit, Gakpo's not the problem. The issue is that whoever is on either side of the pitch in that first half is looking up and they're seeing 5 players in between them and the front 3 all hanging out at the penalty spot, smoking cigs, having a good time, chilling, walking, completely out of play. Gakpo's not the issue by any stretch of just no. Not gonna do it.
I feel like Gakpo's harshly judged. I feel like he's been harshly judged for a while. If you just look at it with a complete baseline analysis, which is what some people want, Gakpo scored for 3 games in a row now. If you take away yesterday's game, the only goals scored by Liverpool starter in a whole calendar month were by Gakpo. 1 against Chelsea, 1 against United. Against Man United, he was the most threatening player. Yes, he should have scored the header. He also had the post twice. And when you look at all the other side of his game, the creativity, he puts in some good crosses. I mean, yesterday, I'm pretty sure he's the one that set up the header for Conor Bradley, which should be going in.
Yeah, 100%. He did. He did. Same thing against Galatasaray. Same thing against Galatasaray.
But that's a brilliant cross, and this is what Gakpo has. So the idea that we should just replace him, I don't see it. I think that he's such a unique player to have. Do I wish he was better at certain things? Yeah, he's not perfect, but he's certainly far from the problem. And I do think especially now when you're looking at how this system's set up, and the fact that the right back is going to be the guy holding the width on the right hand side. Gakpo is probably, all things considered, the most adept guy holding width on the left-hand side. He probably is. And we need that balance for this system to work. You need that level of balance. So I've got no problem with Gakpo playing. I think he gets a real sort of bad rep for no reason.
We don't have another winger we can put there. I'm sorry. I'm not listening to this bullshit. Put Wirtz there. I'm not listening to this bullshit. Put Ekitike there. From now on, it's Cody Gakpo or no left winger, in my opinion. If Cody Gakpo's not playing, 4-4-2. Put a left-sided midfielder over there. I'm not operating with the winger from the left-hand side. I mean, unless you want to play Rio and Gamoa, but do you want to put that week in, week out pressure on a 17-year-old?
That's a big ask.
Exactly. I don't want to do that. In moments, I'm happy to bring him on when I need when I need an injection of creativity and pace and just light, I'll bring on Rio and Gamoa. But we don't have another left winger, out and out, natural left winger.
I think that's why you're starting to see the links to Semenyo pick up a lot, because he can do right and left. So it will be a case of you've got, Salah or Wirtz on the right, whichever system you want to play, Gakpo and whoever on the left, and then you've got Semenyo who can cover both sides. So let's say Salah needs to sit out for the game or something. Semenyo's on the right. Next game you want Gakpo out or Gakpo's injured, whatever. Semenyo goes on the left. So I'm not shocked to see the links to Semenyo really picking up, because I think he fits that void. And Rio is a very, very talented youngster, but he's still a youngster. He's a professional for like 2 months. You don't want to rush these kind of players. We're in a position where we don't need to rush him and potentially damage his career. So there's no need to take that risk.
It's just the wing is not the problem. Width is not our problem. Like our problem,
we're too wide at times.
Yeah, like this is not our problem. The problem of everything at Liverpool is in the middle of the park, both offensively and defensively. It's the midfield three. It's the spaces they occupy, and it's where the front three decide to rotate and make runs off of. That's it. Like that is the core issue of everything. The center of the park, not the width. The width, like the only reason why the width sometimes looks poor is because everyone in the middle is hanging out in the same spot. So you've now condensed the defense to one area of the pitch, and the mid block prevents you from even getting it there. So it's not even a wide problem. Every problem at this football club, in my opinion, is a structured team-based problem. Outside of a few people not being clinical enough in front of goal on certain days, that's just my opinion. Like it's just a cheap argument.
The Salah stuff is exactly how some treated Foden last season. Lazy analysis nowadays, recency bias. Fans do better, is what Martin is saying. I mean, yeah, and Foden is now cooking. And by the way, this is the same thing people did to Konate like 3 game weeks ago. And now Konate is probably playing better than Van Dijk. Just saying. Probably overall, Konate is having better performances than Van Dijk over the last 4 or 5 games. So I'm just saying, you get me. So when you're going all in, criticizing players and insulting them, comes back to bite you in the ass. And thank you so much, Martin, for the raid and for the super chat. You didn't have to do that, my brother, but I appreciate you. We, Liverpool, need to back our players. They are humans. They're going through it right now. Yes, you'll never walk alone is not just a slogan. We have to behave like it as well. And specifically when it's a guy that sits on the same table as Stevie G when it comes to the contributions to Liverpool Football Club and everything that he's done. That's just the reality of the situation. The guy is just the guy is on the same table as the other guy who basically made us a global force to be reckoned with. Big up to you, African Cat, man. By the way, still slot out. 1 game hasn't changed my mind. What stops us from losing this one or the next? Need to see a big one to turn back. I ain't gonna flip-flop, is what Redline.
I ain't gonna.
Who's your replacement? Who's your replacement?
Yep.
Tom, don't even engage. Lion, type right now. We fire Slot today. Who do you hire? Do it. That's my only response.
It's a good question because the answers you get back. Okay, I asked that question.
Oliver Glasner.
No, I asked
Roberto De Zerbi.
Oh fucking god, not that gelid. I asked that question like a week ago, and the top response was fucking Jurgen Klopp, because in a fucking.
Hey, listen, listen. I would love to see Jurgen back.
No, but it's entirely based on a podcast where he said technically it could, because I said I'd never manage another English club, but I don't want to get back into coaching. So and everyone just went, yeah, him.
And then hold on. His response is, "Am I the sporting director?" Okay, so you want to say Slot out, but you don't want to offer any solution to Slot out. Slot showed us in the second half that he is capable of making a tactical change to the structure of the team. That's what he did. From the 45th minute on, all of a sudden we started to actually have 7 guys building up out of our own half. I have the fucking footage to prove it to you. So he can change. Hopefully he's looking at that second half and thinking to himself, wait, if my double pivot actually stays at the center circle, I can create. I can build triangles. My team can bypass a mid block. Hopefully that's the takeaway, right? But we'll see. I mean, again, my only agreement here is that it is only 1 game. it was Eintracht Frankfurt, and two corner kicks is really what destroyed them at the end of that first half. So I have to see more, but I
Set
was
piece
never
again,
set on
ole
it.
ole.
And also, if you're sitting there going, I'm not the sporting director, we have a sporting director who I'm sure you were very happy with in the summer. He wants to give this manager a new contract. So what do we get to there? So you can't just sit there. You can't have all your cake and eat it. You can't sit there and make these big statements, and then when you're asked to how it would go afterwards, you can't say, "Oh, it's not my job to do that." Not how it works.
I hear you. Big up to Andrew says Isak, Gakpo, Salah don't defend. It's killing Karkas.
I mean, Gakpo defended
What?
perfectly fine yesterday. Isak defended perfectly fine yesterday.
What?
And Isak defending as a striker should not impact Milos Kerkez at left back.
No, this is just, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but like Milos Kerkez getting cooked is because, think about it this way. We were able to counter press yesterday in the second half, right? So Frankfurt didn't have the ability to play long balls because they didn't have enough time to look up and see who they're passing to. And when they did, it ended up at the feet of Konate or Virgil van Dijk uncontested. Vice versa.
They didn't have that tall striker up front to play up to and win the duel.
Vice versa. When you look at Manchester United, what did they have when Diogo Dalot got the ball in midfield? He had time to look up and pick out a pass and play a long ball. What did Crystal Palace have? Time, right? When you play more compact, you can actually counterpress. And if I can actually counterpress, you don't have time to look up and kick the ball. So to me, the Kerkez's faults at defense, which to be honest with you, a lot of the times are just being due to the fact that he just is being asked to cover so much space. They're not entirely his fault. And also when he's being asked to invert, he's not a fucking inverting left back. So again, I'm putting him in a position to fail. Like, this is what I said. No one wants to ask why to anything. They just want to point to it and they want to say, that's the fact. I know what I'm talking about. And when you ask them why, they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean why?
Also, if you want facts, Cody Gakpo is better, but on every measurable defensive metric except tackles per 90 minutes. He's better at intercepting. He's got better cross, better at blocking, got more clearances, better at winning aerial duels. So Gakpo does more defensively. So sit there and suggest that Gakpo doesn't defend as a liability defensively.
That's why I was laughing, Mike.
This fucking super chat, bro.
Do you guys still think we can win the league? I think so. Arsenal have a drop off. We just need to click. I'm not giving up on this.
This needs to be the moment, though. So what we done yesterday, yesterday, that needs to be the catalyst. Because I'm as much as that was what I wanted us to do, and as much as I thought the performance for the most part was very good, it wasn't perfect. There are still some problems in that setup based on personnel and based on how we set up a couple of things which need to be addressed. But if that's the catalyst, if that's like the benchmark that we build off of, then 100% we can. Because Arsenal are not going to be perfect to end the season. They're a very good team. They're not really perfect. We now have to be close to that in reality because of what we've done in these last 4 games. But if this is this is what we've set up for, I think I think we're ready and able to build up and off of that.
Fucking guy.
I don't know what the fuck Mike's been doing on YouTube.
Listen,
Today I've learned so much in Mike's stream. The chlamydia zone. Hugo and Isak jerking themselves. So insightful. What the fuck have we been doing on YouTube?
Listen. Everything I'm saying in my universe is fact because my word is law. That particular zone would be the center circle, right? And as we know, when we've built up in these prior games, we don't like to have anyone in that center circle. So I called that center circle the clap because no one wants to be there. But now in the second half of this last game, our double pivot actually wants to be where they should be. So they want the clap. They want the good kind. That's what I'm saying. Also, Hugo and Isak doing that to themselves, that's because they always consistently find themselves in the same area at the edge of the 18-yard box, occupying the same exact zone. So when I say 2 players are doing that, that means because they are. They are. But listen, that's my channel. Don't transfer that over. All right. We're gonna leave all of the demonetization.
Oh, Habibi, that's not. Listen, what happens on YouTube doesn't stay on YouTube, my brother. That stuff is everywhere now. 9 losses last.
I just quite like the idea that there's a good clap that someone can have.
Tom, let's not go there. You're too young for this. 9 losses last 24 comps. All don't give me excuses, is what the Red Line Triangle is saying. And speaking of not giving us excuses, perfect segue to speak about actually what are we going to do moving forward. You know, we've done the Salah bit. Big up to everyone who's supported us. Big up to everyone who's shown us love. You guys are just all absolutely elite. Thank you guys so much. What happens versus Brentford, guys? Because this is the key here. Like, you know, we sit here, we address tactics, we address style of play, we address the way that we change. I've got my tactics board ready and everything. But we can even skip the tactics board. There is no need to bring it out. I'm simply saying, okay, how do we get out of this right now in the Premier League? Because Premier League-wise, we've lost to Chelsea and Man United and Crystal Palace. So it's 3 back-to-back L's. Tom, how do you come out of this situation? By the way, guys, like and subscribe and check out OK Jersey. Code Hussam, 8% off. Go ahead, Tom.
You run the same thing again. If you watch these tactic shows, you know that this is what I want us to do. I want us to set up in a 4-4-2 defensively. Have Florian Wirtz as one of the wide players to be covering defensively. I think it'll be interesting to see if Gravenberch is fit, whether Arne Slot brings him back in straight away, because I personally wouldn't, because I don't see how you can take Szoboszlai or Jones out the pivot at the minute, because I thought both of them were very important to how that game worked. In terms of, you know, going forwards, I think it's got to be Ekitike and Salah as the front two for Sasti. I think Gakpo stays on the left, Wirtz on the right again, but you try and give him that free role. I think that if you've got Salah at right striker and you've got Bradley at right back because Frimpong's injured, what will end up happening is because Salah can drift out wide and Bradley can push inside at points, I think that it'll be and making it so Wirtz gets into that free role that we saw in the second half earlier in the game. Because I agree with Mike, in the first half he wasn't. He was playing as like a right attacking fielder, and the ball wasn't getting to him. When he got into that free role where he could drift anywhere, I think that having 2 guys on the right who are a little bit more fluid in position can probably force that early into the game. I think Robertson's got to play because I think he's the only one who quite understands what the left back needs to do. I know that people question his, reliability, but at the end of the day, he understands the position. He goes forward when he needs to go forward. He comes back when he needs to come back. And I just think he needs to run the same thing again. I quite like a lot of what I saw. I think that the first half was just a bit of teething problems in terms of certain players didn't quite know where they needed to be. And the confidence was a little bit low. And then once we took the lead and the confidence came back into the team, I thought that we played some of the best football we played under Arne Slot in terms of the movement and the link-up. So I think you just run the same thing back with just Salah at right striker. I do question them, and I don't like the idea, but I do think that there's a possibility that it happens. Is he going to do Dom Szoboszlai at right back, Kerkez at left back, and basically invert the setup? So the right back is the one that has to. I hope he doesn't, by the way. I don't want him to do that.
I don't even want to entertain this. I don't even want to entertain that. I don't even want to entertain that. The simple difference that we saw between the first half and second half is adding 1. That's it. It's all we did. Rather than trying to build up with 3 at the back, to then basically we were trying to build up. And if you look at the first half, Frankfurt had a mid block of 5. They were basically running a 5-4-1, and they kept the 5 in front of the 5 in the center of the park, which is why Cody Gakpo saw so much of the ball. That's why Florian Wirtz constantly found himself at the touchline trying to think, what do I do here, right? Because everything in the middle was compacted. Second half comes. All of a sudden, Liverpool decided to say, I'm going to keep 3 at the back, but my double pivot is actually going to stay in front of my 3.
Yeah,
so rather than
Jones in the first half was going very far left.
Yes. Yeah, so rather than trying to do all that, we actually built up with 5 in the middle. This allowed Florian Wirtz, as Tom said, to have this free roll. The more free Florian Wirtz is, the more movement you're going to see from the whole front 3. I think right now, our front line has a problem of being static and complacent, but that comes because the back line is static and complacent because they can't bypass the mid block. Bypass the mid block, everyone else will be much more free flowing. And Florian Wirtz covers so much ground. So if this is the key to unlocking him, and Florian Wirtz has already proved he can pick up the ball on the left, he can pick up the ball on the right, and he can make something happen going forward. So allow Florian to be that free flowing midfielder. Whoever our double pivot is, which I'm assuming is going to be Curtis Jones and Dominic Szoboszlai, they need to stay in the center of the park. The back three, because in possession we go into a back three, need to be where they are.
See,
and
it's a weird one though, Mike, isn't it? Because it's like it points at a back three, and then at points Robertson will allow himself to go and join the second line, which does work at points.
I was seeing that more in the first half because in the second half, Robertson was basically instructed, you're going to be my left-handed center back. Curtis Jones, you're going to be the one. So like the rotation that I saw is that Connor Bradley essentially played as a wing back, and he was our widest player on the right-hand side of the pitch.
He was the entire width on the right-hand side. He was just left to his own devices.
And then Curtis Jones was sort of like trading places with Florian Wirtz. So there would be times where Curtis Jones was the one in the middle and Florian Wirtz was out on the left. And then there would be other times where Curtis Jones was essentially occupying the space that a wingback would be occupying, and someone else dropped into Florian Wirtz's position. But we always had five. We always had five in the middle of the park in that second half, and that's what allowed us to be much more free-flowing. You know, we just looked so fluid because it was an equal amount. Or sometimes Frankfurt decided to only press with three, and I had six in my own half. So it's a 6-on-3. I'm outnumbering you 2-1 to get into your half. Now I don't have to worry about those three guys. And I have the quality in this team on a technical basis where, like, I'm okay going man for man. As long as I bypass that mid block, I'm so down to do 4-on-4 attacks. Like, let's do it all day. If Florian Wirtz is carrying the ball and it's 4-on-4, let's go. I back us to beat any team on the planet. The issue is you got to get past that first five. And I know Brentford are not going to play a low block because United didn't play a low block. Crystal Palace didn't play a low block. They only did that at the end of games when we were trying to get the winner. Even Southampton didn't do that, right? Everyone is packing five in the middle. Build up with five. Watch us fucking conquer. That's simple. To me, it's everything. And I saw it. So now that I've seen it, I need to see it again. And if I don't see it again, it'll be back to DEFCON 5. We're down to DEFCON 3.
I think that the build-up with five is definitely the case. I think the biggest difference for me, though, was both pivots were comfortable passing the ball.
Yeah.
Both of them were perfectly comfortable passing the ball. Ryan Gravenberch's been very good this year. He's not comfortable passing the ball at certain situations. Curtis Jones in every situation is comfortable passing the ball. And Dom Szoboszlai is a lot more of a progressive passer when he's in deep. He played a number of really good through balls. So much worked out, so much didn't. I think that I know I don't like it, but I'm just trying to think how else he's going to use it because we can't use the same plays every time. I really wouldn't be shocked to see a world where you keep the five in a sense, but it's so we put Szoboszlai at right back, Kerkers at left back, and a pivot of Jones and Gravenberch.
I can't do it.
I don't want to, but I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to make it work.
Do you know why? Okay, my theory as to why Dominic Szoboszlai has seen anything at the right back position is because he wants to build with three. He thinks that Dominic Szoboszlai is more comfortable in the build-up phase than any of the other right backs, which means that he's more confident with him there. But it doesn't change the fact that you're just changing the name on the back of the jersey. That's all you're doing, putting Dominic Szoboszlai there. Like, it's so, like, you could even put McAllister there. Like, to be honest, I see a world where McAllister could work against Brentford this weekend if you tell McAllister to play in front of the mid-block, not behind the mid-block. If McAllister is specifically instructed, you are not the progressive player. You are to be in front of the mid-block, to link up with Ryan Gravenberch, and to link up with the back three. We will see the McAllister of last season. I don't think that it's this crazy personnel problem. I think that we can interchange everyone as long as we keep five in front of five. I will back us, but if we get outnumbered,
Let me
I don't
ask you
think he's
both a
playing.
question because there's something I was listening to both of you guys. Someone said, Hussam, where are you? I'm actually enjoying this conversation. Do you get me? I actually enjoy shows like this. There's no shouting or anything. We're just here to kind of just look at it from a football perspective. And as I was filling my water bottle, I heard that you guys were saying about this whole Szoboszlai thing and the Jones positioning as well. From just purely looking at Frankfurt, do you guys think we cooked more in the first half or the second half?
Second.
Stylistically.
Second.
We had more confidence in the second half, and we pushed Curtis Jones to keep his position essentially. I don't think we were a million miles away in the first half, though. I don't think the first half was it wasn't better than the second half, but I don't think it was all that much worse. I think it was just a bit of teething problems with it. The second was the better half. The second had more free flowing of a nature to it, but the first half was definitely sort of the baseline level of what I think this can do. And if that's the baseline level, then I've got a lot of positivity about it. Because
I think that we were very fortunate in the first half.
I don't think we're.
I think I would agree. By the way, I'm a lot more on Mike's side on this one because, like, bro,
we almost conceded after Van Dijk. Connor Bradley had to block a shot right in front of goal 30 seconds after Van Dijk scored, and that was off a corner, right? So we have to.
I don't like the 4-4-2. I don't like the 4-4-2, even with like Wirtz occupying that like right mid area a little bit and then inverting into the thing. I think. No, I disagree with you. I
didn't have a problem with our initial press. It wasn't that ended up killing us. Yeah. It was
the thing is we have to remember in the first half as well, Tom. In the first half, 2 of our goals we scored from set pieces. Now, if I'm looking at breaking, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
It was a 20% conversion rate off of corners that game.
Yeah, I'm saying not sustainable. It's not sustainable for us to break down an opponent week in, week out.
I'm not saying it's sustainable, but we're also not going to come up against opponents who can hold them mid-block to that level week in, week out.
But we have for the last 5 weeks. I mean, would we say that Crystal Palace or Manchester United, like Manchester United had a mid-block, the worst fucking team in the history of teams, put up a mid-block at Anfield, and we're the better side. Like Southampton put up a mid-block, a championship side, albeit against the C team, but I don't give a shit. Everyone just forgets that they just completely missed a wide open net before we scored the equalizer. Everyone forgets that. So, again, I don't think it matters who you play if you try to build up with 3. And that's what we did in the first half. And fortunately for us, Cody Gakpo decided to say, you know what? Enough of this. And around the 35th minute, he decided to stop passing it back to Robertson. He drove down to the byline. All of those crosses got blocked, but they led to corners. And because they led to corners, they led to that goal. Same thing goes for the right side. We just decided to say, fuck it. I'm going to cut in, I'm going to shoot, or I'm going to cross.
I don't think we built up with a 3. I thought we built up with a 4. So the second half, we built up with a 3-2. Which is the ideal way to go about it. In the first half, we were 3-1. Szoboszlai was basically just left on his own in the middle.
Okay. So
really off to the left, and him and Robertson were rotating. I don't think that a 3-1 is the worst. It is, we're better than a 3-2. I don't think a 3-1 makes it impossible. I think a 3-1.
I feel like the more you speak, the more you're convincing yourself. The more you speak, the more you're
because we played large parts of last season at 3-1.
I know, and we were shit for large parts of the last season. Guys, everyone forgets that we barely scraped by fucking Southampton at the back half of last season. Like, these were not convincing wins. I'm not going to sit here and revise the fucking title race. Every time we dropped points, so did Arsenal. Go ask James Redmond, because we did this side by side. I pulled it up. I pulled up the fucking receipts, date by date. Every time we drew, Arsenal drew. And if Arsenal gained points, we had a game in hand, or vice versa. So it was always equal. We were very fortunate. And the fact is, we weren't playing good football.
I don't think we were fortunate, though. I don't think we were fortunate. I think that were we as good in the second half of the season as the first half? No. But I don't think we were fortunate. I don't think for large parts of last season we played crap. I thought for large parts of last season.
Second half of last season, not the first half.
But we played the 3-1-6 for most of the season, even in the first half of the season.
No, we didn't. I can denounce that right now. Manchester United 3-0 away. We had 7 in our own half. We had 7 in our own half.
Yes, but that wasn't the norm. We all understand that game wasn't the norm because he completely changed the midfield setup to counteract their game. We played a lot of games in the first half of that season, and when he set up with Ryan Gravenberch as the 6, it worked. The 3-1-6 worked. Now, is it better than the 3-2-5? I'm not saying that, but I understand what the use of a 3-1-6 is. The problem we have is we don't use the 6 attackers properly. We make it a 3-1-3-3, but with the 2 midfielders, who should be the deeper ones of the 6, as the most advanced ones of the 6, and therefore you lose all progression. The 3-2 works better, and it worked better yesterday because for the first time this season, Arne Slot had his defensive midfielders have an element of discipline. He told them, you're not both going forward.
That was going to be my next question. I'll be honest with you guys. We can sit here and we can say Salah was dropped. We can say Karkas was dropped as much as we want. Bro, that game doesn't happen. The whole Frankfurt game doesn't happen without Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones' contributions. For me now, the first midfielder I'm putting against Brentford is Curtis Jones.
Yes, agreed. 100%.
Him and Szoboszlai, I'm sorry, have to start. Guys, that for me, those 2 are the must starts in the team, or else this whole thing goes to shit.
I think that, to me, I disagree in the idea that the reason why the 3-2 worked was because the 2 were holding. That's just not true. In my opinion, the 3-2 was working because when Florian Wirtz was given freedom and Federico Chiesa, who was on the pitch, Federico Chiesa by nature is not a static player. He will always be moving. Hugo Ekitike by nature, not a static player. He will always be moving. Alexander Isak by nature is quite static. Mohamed Salah by nature right now over the last 12 games, very static, right? Florian Wirtz, the opposite of being static. It was the combination of the 3-2 and the fact that everyone in front of them, those 5 were never walking. In the first half, I literally have a screenshot that is a mirror image of United, of Chelsea, of Crystal Palace. Everyone's static. Everyone's walking. No one's making runs. No one's moving off the ball. But then, of course, all of a sudden, if everyone else in front moves, that means that the defense moves. And if the defense moves, there's space to attack, which means that Szoboszlai, go ahead. Attack some space. What do you know? Scores a goal. Curtis Jones, go ahead. Attack some space. What do you know?
I'm so in agreement with Mike Tom. I'll be honest with you. The more I'm listening to him explain it, we have to do the 3-2 instead of the 3-1. I'm sorry.
I want to.
No. He wants to. He's just making an argument that there's a universe
I
where it
understand
works.
there was a use for the 3-1-6,
and I just don't think there is.
We just haven't been using it correctly.
To me, the only point of a 3-1-6 is if you want to play dog shit football and score your chances and concede 5 or 6. That is what a 3-1-6 does for us. Because what a 3-1-6 does is completely eliminates the entire ability to counterpress right off the bat. Because our 3-1-6 really isn't. By the way, it really isn't a 3-1-6. When you look at the 3-1-6 when Liverpool plays, it's 3-1-0-0-0-6. So I've got 3 different areas on the pitch where I have no one, and then I have 6 players. So there's a giant gaping hole. If one of those 4 players loses the ball, it's automatically a 5-on-3 because I'm playing a mid block. So right now, like everything that's wrong with Liverpool is a numbers game. That's it. Like Arne Slot after the game yesterday, he talked about we were able to press them because they were playing the ball on the floor and the ball wasn't in the air. Which, I mean, I'm just convinced that this guy's trolling me. He's personally trolling me at this point with his comments after games, because anyone could tell you, well, they didn't get the ball in the air because they actually pressed, and they pressed because it wasn't a 3-1-0-0-0-6. It was a 3-2-5, and the 5 was fucking moving. So. Did
you guys, by the way, see what Curtis Jones said after the game, which I think is even more interesting than what Slot said? He said that he himself believes that Liverpool play ping-pong football. Me and Mike, I think, had this conversation, I think even before our first loss. We were talking about this whole, like, ping-pong. And if Curtis Jones just, like, you know, whether he's in the game or he's watching from the bench, feels it. Like, the thing is,
yes, because Curtis Jones is a very intelligent footballer.
Let me ask you a question, right? Let's go back to the Liverpool Arsenal game. 1-0. Because I feel like that's the game where we defended the best, I would say, because it's a quality.
Arsenal were
opposition as
also
well.
very
Arsenal was shit.
Arsenal played like pussies. Like they played pragmatic pussy ball. They did not
Okay,
show up.
but hear me out. When McAllister was McAllister came off for Jones, I think, and that was the substitution that changed the game for us. When we were building up, would you guys say we were building with a 3-2 with Gravenberch and Jones?
I'd have to go back and look more. But the reason why I think Curtis Jones is the most important midfielder right now is because he's the only one who has consistently shown me that when he gets frustrated, he is not only capable, but he's willing to go off script. And he will carry the ball into space by himself, and he will create something for someone else. Szoboszlai is way too disciplined to do that. There were multiple runs yesterday that he didn't make that could have freed up space, that could have led to goals in the first half. But Curtis Jones is different. Curtis Jones will do it. Curtis Jones did it against United. For 10 minutes, we passed the ball around. Curtis Jones gets it, says, fuck all you. I'm going to dribble. I'm going to make it happen. Weak shot, but at least he showed me that he's willing to do that. That's why I want to play
Ekitike is like that in an attack.
Yeah, 100% sure. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
but he's an attacker, not a midfielder.
Yeah, but it's about having those profiles in your setup. So the one thing I will say, Mike, and the one part that I will slightly push back on, I think that a part of why it worked was because the DMs were disciplined, because that inherently frees up Wirtz to be as flexible as he wants, because he knows he's got coverage behind him, and he knows he's got, if he gets the ball put into him, he knows he's got two options to pass to rather than just one. So if he receives the ball, because oftentimes he was getting the ball from Bradley, it felt like, because Konate would pass up to Bradley and Bradley would play it inside to Wirtz. Wirtz would receive the ball with his back to goal, and he can either turn on it and go straight back to Szoboszlai, who can then play his long passes, or he can let it run across a little bit and play it into Curtis Jones, who was typically in a little bit more space. But that was because they were disciplined. The big gripe I have had, and it's why I say the 3-1 can work, but we don't use it correctly, is because in games gone by, Florian Wirtz would receive that ball with his back to goal, and when he looks to play it to the pivot, they're both ahead of him. And he's got to go back to the fullback or back to the centre back, and then the attacks just slowly wither out and die. The balance is there. I think that ultimately, when you look at the player profiles that we bought outside of Kirkers, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around, considering how you want to play him, because I thought he'd be a little bit better at certain things than he is. That system that we set up with yesterday, that's what we bought the players for. We bought one of those
first half or second half?
Second half.
Okay, yeah, agreed.
We bought the most attacking right wing back on the planet behind Hakimi. And what was our right wing back doing yesterday? Holding width and being the only guy on the right hand side for the most part.
I love, dude. He needs to get healthy.
I actually loved Frimpong's cameo yesterday, by the way.
Because that's what you bought.
He did really well for us, considering the circumstances.
You play them as a wing back. And then what that does, by having him cover the right, it means Wirtz can go into the middle, but defensively he's still covering a wide area, which is what I think he needs to do. And I was quite happy with the defense.
I don't get why you signed Kirkes and you basically ask him to play either a third centre back or invert. It makes no sense. You're not playing to his strength. That's why Robertson looks better as an example. Robertson looks better in the fight.
But the Robertson in the first half is, I think, what we signed Kirkes for.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same exact thing. Robertson's first half was exactly what Kirkes has been doing, and it was nothing. It led to nothing. Robertson couldn't even overlap Cody Gakpo, because even if he did, where's he going to go with the ball? Right now, in my opinion, what frees up Florian Wirtz the most is if the double pivot stay central. As long as we have two guys in or around the center circle, and by around I mean like within 10 to 15 yards of it, and the double pivot is an actual double pivot, you free up so much space for Wirtz to move, and the guy can cover so much ground. And if Wirtz is moving, everyone in front of Wirtz is moving, because we all know Wirtz is supposed to be the 10. He's supposed to be the outlet. He's supposed to be the creative outlet. So if I want to pass, I need to be in a lane that Florian Wirtz can see me, unless, of course, I'm Cody Gakpo or I'm Mohamed Salah, and I'm supposed to be the wide outlet for a diagonal at midfield. But either way, the 3-2 is what unlocks Florian Wirtz. That's what unlocked that performance. And I've seen that in spells this season. I saw it against Atletico Madrid. I saw it against Everton, right? When you build up with that structure, you give him the space. That's all we need to do. Like Florian Wirtz finds himself in trouble when we have the 3-1-0-0-6, and he feels the need to drop from the 6 and drop all the way back and get behind the 3 and pick up the ball there. That's Galatasaray in a nutshell. We had a giant gaping hole in between our back and our front, and Florian Wirtz dropped behind where the back was and said, wait, if I can't get the ball here, I might as well just go all the way back and pick it up from fucking Mamadashvili, and then I can make something happen. But then he'd carry the ball forward and he'd say, hey, where the fuck is everybody? That's the issue. Like it's real. It's all down to structure. And I think that second half proves it, because there's two completely different structures in the way we played. One where we dominated, and
I like the second half so much, by the way. Second half, I loved it.
We should have scored even more. I said it. I was doing the watch along, and I was like, okay, we got 2 set pieces and 1 goal. They got 1 goal. So technically open play, it's 1-1. Well, we ended the game 3-1 from open play. And it probably should have been like 6-1 from open play. Just on the day, a couple guys didn't hold their runs or a couple guys didn't finish. If Chiesa hits that overhead kick, if Mohamed Salah plays in Florian Wirtz, there's 2 goals already. We're talking 7-1. So it's about the structure around Florian Wirtz. And even in the one credit I'll give Tom is that with the 3-1, the fact that Florian Wirtz was still able to create over 20 chances this season, playing that dog shit system, just shows you the fucking absolute pimp that you signed. This guy is so good that you can put him in a position to fail and he will still set people up. What I need to see is the second half, and Florian will have 20-20.
Have you guys had a moment to actually look at the statistics of the game? Have you guys seen how dominant this was?
All of them. We had like 15 big chances, something like that.
Yeah, listen, watch this. Yeah, look how mad these numbers are. XG Liverpool 3.21, Frankfurt 0.33, shots 18-4, shots on target 14-1. This is the key part, and this is the part that Mike's talking about, which I agree with completely. Big chances for Liverpool 10, big chances for Frankfurt 0. They didn't even count the goal that they scored as a big chance.
It's because it's low percentage.
Yes, I know. I agree with you. That's my point.
We did our best to make Christensen look like fucking Marcelo. We tried.
From open play, we actually have 2.42 XG created, and from set play, of course, it's 0.89. But my thing is like, okay, now basically looking at all what we have said, what are we gonna do against Brentford this Saturday? Forget what Slot will do. I want what Tom will do and what Mike will do. I don't want to keep you guys for too long.
Mamadashvili, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Wirtz, Szoboszlai, Jones, Gakpo, Salah, Ekitike.
So you're running back the 4-4-2, basically.
Yeah, I don't get why you didn't like it defensively. I thought it was quite good defensively. I thought that your big drive would be transition-wise, which we addressed in the second half, because in the first half we were doing a weird thing transition-wise, but Bradley would go forwards and Curtis Jones would cover from left DM to right back. And for their goal, you're watching Curtis Jones get caught because he's at right back, but he needs to get over to left DM, and Szoboszlai is just left on an island. In the second half, we didn't do that. We told Ibrahim Konate to get his big boy pants on and go cover the right channel. And all of a sudden, any ball they played down that side, Konate dealt with.
We were leaving both of our center backs hung out to dry in the first half. We just completely vacated the midfield because we were going because we spent 90% of our time giving the ball to Florian Wirtz or Cody Gakpo on the touchline. The team felt the need to vacate the middle of the park. So if any of them got dispossessed, the middle of the park was wide open. That's why it looked like Frankfurt were cooking us in the first 10 minutes of the game, because we weren't really up to it, and the middle of the park was wide open for them to run into. But for the most part, Frankfurt were passing the ball around at the back in the 4-4-2, and I don't have an issue with how you press a team that has sustained possession. I don't even think that pressing really leads to a fucking whole lot against the majority of teams that you're playing. It's the counter pressing that leads to opportunities. People get that so confused. They forget that, wait, Jurgen Klopp's pressing was at like their final third. It wasn't like us just pressing a back line who's perusing around playing fucking U-ball. This weekend,
we didn't press in the first half.
No, we literally just cut passing lanes. That was our press. It was Ekitike and
what Arne
Isak
really wants us to do. That's how
you
Arne
should
sees
do.
defensively.
Brentford is a different test though, because Brentford are not interested in passing at all. Brentford are
No,
gonna go long ball
no.
all game. Let's
But-
call a spade a
but-
spade.
Make no mistake, they are not going to play a low block. They are going to play a mid block unless they're really stupid. If they're really stupid and they play a low block, I don't think it matters who we play, because the one consistency
into a low block when we have the ball. That's what it'll be.
The one consistency that you've seen this season, no matter what we do in build up, if the other team sits back, like the second half against Palace, or towards the end against United, or even moments against Chelsea, we're able to have freedom. And then it just becomes an issue of, well, where's the front line? Are they all standing in the same zone? Is there movement? But that's a separate conversation. This weekend, Brentford are going to set up in a mid block, at least to start the game. I don't have any disagreements with the starting 11 that Tom said, because I don't think Gravenberch is fit. I don't think
even if he is though, I'm not throwing him straight back in, because I don't want to.
What's the news on the Isak Frimpong thing as well? Is there any actual news on it, or
I haven't seen any news, so I would assume it's not. I don't think
his press conference is tomorrow. His press conference is tomorrow. Frimpong is probably out for a couple of weeks though. Some Dutch reporters said that he won't be back till the international break, so Frimpong's probably out for 4 games. Isak, no idea.
All I need to see is my starting 11 doesn't matter, because I don't think it does matter. I don't think that our starting 11 matters, except for maybe Isak, because of how static he is in his position, and the fact that him and Ekitike occupy the same areas. No matter what we do, 3-2. That's it. I don't care who's on the fucking pitch. I don't care if it's McAllister. I don't care if it's Soboslai. I don't care if it's Wirtz in a double pivot. Doesn't matter. When you're facing the 5 mid block, play a 3-2 build up. Actually use your wingbacks as wingbacks, and we will cook. We will be more than fine.
This game.
So you're also going the same team as Tom.
Based on health, I don't see any other change. Like, Bradley has to play right back. Robertson has to play left back. Konate and Virgil are our 2 center backs. Those cannot remain changed. Federico Chiesa has proven, at least Arne Slot's willing to play him for 45 minutes, but I think there's a specific reason why he's not starting him. I think for some reason Arne Slot thinks Federico Chiesa is just better off the bench, whether it's against tired legs or it's just to inject.
So I'm assuming you both would disagree with my team, basically.
I don't have a problem with it. I just don't think it's going to happen.
If you can go with that, but I don't like the shape. I don't like defending in a 4-2-3-1, because I don't think Brentford. I think that's not going to do much against Brentford in my mind. I think the 4-4-2 was better. I think it protects the fullbacks better. And Chiesa, if you want to start Chiesa, start Chiesa. If you want to start Salah. But I prefer the 4-4. I think the 4-4-2 is a better option for defending. I think that it enables you to cut passing lanes more effectively to a team that's passing out the back. Because that really works, Sam. That really works if we're up against a 4-3-3. If we're up against a 4-3-3 with one single pivot, and you can put Wirtz almost on him to sort of cover him and take him out the game, out of position, that works. But teams don't play that way nowadays.
I just don't see Salah working in the 4-4-2. That's it. That's all. I
see him as the right striker.
Yeah, but what I guess what I'm trying to say is that.
By the way, just for the chat to know, Tom is saying this basically. Just so you guys know, Tom is saying this.
If we see Salah in the right-handed striker, the issue that I have is going to be his link-up play with Florian Wirtz and Dominic Soboslai. Like, I think he's going to be over-eager to get to goal. But again, he could also prove me wrong. Also, at the same time, that whole right-hand side of the pitch is pissing me the fuck off. Doesn't matter.
Yes, I was about to say, Mike. You want to know, Tom? You want to know why I did what I did? Let me show you. You see this? You see this whole area right here?
It sucks.
Bradley,
sucks.
Bradley, good luck, mate. You get me? It's just gonna be Bradley. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like, yo, you're low-key asking Bradley to do a lot here.
Not really.
Okay, when Wirtz gets, let me tell you why I agree with Mike.
Okay.
So Wirtz gets the ball here, right? He gets the ball here in even. Like, let's say we win the ball, they're attacking us, we win the ball. Now, I get what Slot is doing, which is Wirtz's starting position is here, but he's going to be occupying this space for the most part. And then you're going to do this. And then when we defend, you're going to do this. We understand that part, okay? And that's the thing where you guys were referring to when you spoke about the whole 3-2-5 thing. My issue is, though, when we get possession of the football, I don't like Wirtz having possession of the football in these areas at all. I want Wirtz to occupy this space right here. Like these areas is where I want him to be because that's
yeah,
the
but
position
but
where
he-
he's
he-
gonna be
but
the
he
most
will
dangerous.
do.
but yeah, he does that. That's what he did. But that he can only do that if you build up with 5. Wirtz can only be free in the center of the park if that's how you want to play, which would then sort of almost transition into like a hybrid diamond. Like again, I don't think that there's nothing on paper that we could really put out that's going to tell you how we play because we change all the fucking time. Like we're always flip flopping. We're always
Hassan, put that press away. Put that fucking setup away.
No,
it's shit.
Let me tell you exactly
shit.
what Slot will do. Can I predict Slot's team for you guys? Everyone knows it, right?
on
Let's
paper.
just- yeah, no.
Get Maka in there. Yeah.
Yep. This is what Slot will do. Everyone put the fries in the bag. We can disagree. We have minor disagreements over our lineups, but this is exactly what Slot is gonna do.
I'm gonna put my neck out on the line here, and I'm gonna do something that I haven't done all season. I'm gonna put a little bit of faith into Slot to not be an idiot. I'm gonna here live on October 23rd, 2025. I'm telling you guys, Arne Slot will not be a stupid bald fraud. He will not do this. He will not fall for this bullshit. He will not.
You already saw my team, Mike's team, Tom's team, so you can't claim this is us. We're simply predicting what we think Slot will do, which is that's
cannot. This is a sackable offense. To set up like this against Brentford this weekend is a sackable offense in itself.
And you just know how it would go. Fucking McAllister to be alongside Ekitike up front. So
yep.
This is.
Hold on, wait. Bradley, hold on, wait. Stop for a second. Put Salah at right striker. Put Connor Bradley at right wing. Yep. Put Florian Wirtz right in front of Hugo Ekitike. And then put Dominic Szoboszlai right behind the center circle. This is how Arne Slot will play the 4-2-4.
Yeah,
it's
not even.
This is how we play.
Gakpo should be along further up and as far left as you can, and Keke should just be in between Szoboszlai and Wirtz on the left hand side, completely negating his role in build up.
This is what it'll turn into,
think
and we're going to
given Slot's rotations, the way that he behaves, I'm predicting it. Which is why, as soon as I said it, Mike was like, "Yep, that's."
I'm more worried. I'm more worried that he's going to do Szoboszlai right back again. I'm more worried that he's going to do that.
There's a possibility that
so we can have Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Jones in the same team.
McAllister and Jones.
I don't think he drops Jones.
I don't think he rushes back Gravenberch.
But before you move on to chats and finish up, the Brentford game. The reason why I utterly think that. In reality, shapes are relevant for the most part. 4-4-2 is more important because they play with a double pivot. So if you have Wirtz to the 10, he's fucked. So he needs to start wider and drift in. But Brentford aren't going to try and sit there and build up against our mid block. Brentford are going to give the ball to Jordan Bryan Henderson and fucking boot it all the way up the pitch to Igor Thiago and hope that Igor Thiago can win his duels and knock it on to Ouattara or Kevin Schade. Or Henderson will boot a really long ball into our channel where the right back and the right centre back is, and they'll hope that Kevin Schade.
So it's everything Slot's been bitching about in the press conferences for the last 4
but Slot isn't fucking being honest, right? I'm convinced that this guy doesn't want anyone to fucking know what he thinks. So he goes on these press conferences and he trolls with surface level bullshit so that we all think that he's a fucking idiot, but he's not an idiot. Even though he's acting like an idiot, he's not an idiot because the only way they will be able to play long ball against us is if our possession structure is so open that when we get dispossessed, they actually have the time to look up and they can pick a pass. Otherwise, if I don't have an issue with a team doing hoofball settings, like I have no problem. If Jordan Henderson gets the ball and he's getting pressed and he just happens to hoof it, and it just happens to find a guy, is what it is. I'm happy. That's low percentage, that isn't consistent, that isn't sustainable. All good, because this is just a part of the game. But 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to find Konate or Virgil. And that's what you saw against Frankfurt. Or they're going to try to get cute. They're going to play it on the floor, and the goalkeeper will just slice one out of play. And then boom, throw in, reset. Like it all begins with how we're set up. And that will negate or encourage everything that Brentford is going to do. But also, it should be said, this is a bogey ground for us, right? Last season, I had to rely on Darwin Punez to score 2 in extra time. You're welcome. You're welcome to all my Darwin sexuals. Regardless, I had to rely on that. The year before I struggled there. I never seemed to play well.
We did all right the year before last. We won 4-1, didn't we? Everyone got fucking injured that day. Jones got injured.
Yeah, that was
got
the
injured.
bad thing. Yeah.
Like we won 4-1. We played really well. We just kept getting fucking injured. Salah got injured in that game and missed like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and that fucking.
That's the game where he came back, scored twice, I think, or got a goal and an assist.
If I'm Brentford, I'm playing mid block and I'm attacking Andrew Robertson and I'm attacking the right side and I'm hoping I either get one into the box.
Cute, you think Robertson will stop? It's very cute.
Or then I'm attacking Kirkes, and my plan is simple. I'm going to play crosses blindly into the box. Either it's going to find one of my guys' head. It's like either it'll find the foot of my player or it'll go out for a corner. And Liverpool can't fucking defend set pieces. That's your key to victory. Mid block, go for corners or blind crosses. That's simple. Either end doesn't need to be fancy. Doesn't need to be ball to feet. Even Frankfurt had success doing this. Guys, remember, before Andrew Robertson played in Hugo Ekitike on the first time, what was the attack by Eintracht Frankfurt? Behind Connor Bradley, ball across, uncontested. No one's home. All it takes is one guy to be there. Two seconds after Virgil van Dijk scores. Same exact passage of play. Connor Bradley's there to make a block on the shot. So the formula is there. You just are they going to execute? And are we going to have our head up our own ass? I don't know. I hope not. But I swear to God, if Jordan Henderson gets a fucking assist and we drop points in this game, it's long. It's long for you, Hussam, because you do all these panel shows.
I'm done out here. Big up first of all to Chaos Alpha. I think that's my brother Muhammad, who says, what the hell, 600 people watching, hit the damn like button. Yes, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, please. And do check out our sponsors, OK Jersey. Use code Hussam for 8% off. And there is a bomba dropping tomorrow. You get me during the day. There is something happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. I'm probably going to upload it, or maybe even earlier. So watch out for that, Habibis. Big up to you, man. Thanks for your first season, but bye. Klopp had credit in bank for several seasons. One season doesn't equal full trust in him. Sorry, not sorry. You guys' thoughts on this?
I'm not engaging with this. He said he's not the sporting director. He said he's not the sporting director. So what's the point of having a conversation? He can't offer me a solution.
I love the fact that
also
people.
It's the fucking Klopp had credit in the first season. Jurgen Klopp lost two finals and finished 8th. So where was the credit in the bank after the first season there?
Oh, Jurgen Klopp only won European. Jurgen Klopp is 1-4 in European finals, not just finals. European finals, big games, 1-4, one league in 9 years? Yeah, sure, but behind Manchester City. But come on, guys, come on.
I mean,
let's not act like he's messy.
Liverpool's first 2 seasons under Jurgen Klopp, we were about fucking 20 points off the title every time.
Didn't we finish 4th when we lost to Real Madrid in the final?
Yeah, we finished 8th, then 4th, and then we got 2nd.
Yeah, well, we finished 4th the year we won. I thought we finished 2nd the year we
Clear
won.
2 Klopp haters are speaking.
No, it's not.
I'm not a Klopp hater. I just said I would welcome him back. I would love This is your Klopp team.
I'm just asking how Jurgen Klopp had credit in the bank, had more credit in the bank with a 8th place finish, a 4th place finish, and a 4th place finish in a Champions League final than Arne Slot has for winning the fucking Premier League. That's the part that just gets me on that point.
I don't do this credit in the bank, right? The time is now. The time is not last season. The time is now. If you suck today and I'm 15 points behind Arsenal in December, I don't give a shit what you did last year. Simple as that. But also, to me, it's about performances. We've been asked whether we win or not, so it's deeper.
I reserve judgment of our team till after Saturday. I don't think Salah should start. Keith Andrews, the Brentford head coach, is a set piece coach. I'm just so worried because I just know it's it might be some form of poetic justice bullshit or some shit, bro. Guys, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep doing this, bro. It's just Please just win. I'm begging you. Liverpool Football Club. Kerkez is a wing back playing inverted center back. No wing back does it good. Cucurella's fullback role might suit his defensive position better. So fullback to inverted works.
It's not about Kerkez as a wing back and then he's inverted. No, Kerkez has just not got the technical qualities to play the role that the manager wants, because that isn't the role he played at fucking Bournemouth.
I just have to share something real quick.
We asked when
put this on the screen.
When Robertson plays at left back, we ask him to do the same thing.
Yo, this is where Kerkez finds himself 90% of the time. You tell me right now, Captain, I know it all. Tell me, how does Milos Kerkez do anything fucking effective here? And by the way, Konate's not moving. Bradley's not moving. Gravenberch is moving into nowhere. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys occupying the center of the pitch. I got a donut hole, and this is where Milos Kerkez finds himself.
Look at Substance telling him to pass backwards, so it's going to go back to Van Dijk, and we're just again going to be sat there with no one in the middle.
This is my issue right now with people being player FC. It is my opinion that if we play the way that we did against United or Palace or Chelsea, I don't care who you buy on the planet Earth. I don't care what created player you make in FC 26. It ain't sustainable. It ain't consistent. It's not working. Simple as. You can take it up. Thank you.
Fairs. Klopp's the reason we're even competing. I do agree Klopp built it, so it is different completely in terms of building.
And that is wonderful with hindsight. But once again, I ask you, why, after the end of 2016-17, when Jurgen Klopp had just got a top 4 finish, after, let's bear in mind, in January, we were 1 point off the title, and it all went tits up. But at that point in time, Jurgen Klopp had got a 4th place finish, and the season before had lost 2 finals and got 8th. Why did he have more credit in the bank at that point than Arne Slot does now, who in his first season won the fucking Premier League and lost the final? He lost the same final Jurgen Klopp lost.
Thank you. He gets it. He gets it. I don't even know. You might be a City fan, but you get it. I appreciate you. I see you.
Anyway, guys, look, we're going to wrap it up here. Tom Little is in the description. Mike Das LFC is in the description. Mike Das putting out content as well. Well done. How many subscribers are you on now?
I think I've gained like 200 in the last week or something like that.
Go on, Mike. Well done. Atta boy. You get me. Mike Das is currently on 528 subscribers. Let's try to push him to 600.
Hey, that's like 14 today. All right. Hey, if I get to 1,000, I'm going to be an idiot and I'm going to spend $150 on FIFA packs and we're going to open all of them live. So that's 120 packs, people. It's 120 packs to open live.
Great. So there you go, guys. Like the video, man. Subscribe before you leave. We're just one subscriber away from.
You aren't getting any content from me anytime soon. FM came out today. So.
Yeah, that's why I don't even ask you. 62.5K. I'm just one subscriber away. So please, all of you guys, just subscribe from your mom phone, your dad phone, your brother phone, your TV phone. Let's get me to 62.5. Watch out for the bomba dropping tomorrow. Like I said, probably targeting around 12 p.m. noon time. Love to every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And we're going to redirect you over to Staffy TV. I don't know if Mike, you're headed there as well, right?
Yeah. I gotta go there. I'm late.
Yeah, American Waffle. See you guys over there, man. Peace out. Love, Habibis.